How are we doing? Check, check, check. We're gonna make sure our mic levels are good because we trying to do something a little different today. Getting fancy, and we're just gonna see what it looked like. So, hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media cover the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People, here for our ritual weekly day after show where we talk about the previous day's matchup. In this case, that being the Carolina Panthers versus the New York Jets. First time this team has won 3 games in a row. Let's give a little round of applause for that. And then also, lots of stuff to talk about today. Bryce Young getting hurt, just the latest news and injuries as we get ready to take on the Buffalo Bills as now our next opponent here next week. That will be a home game here at Bank of America Stadium, which is pretty cool, pretty cool. And I'm just checking to make sure that everything is right with my levels and everything. We are looking good so far. And things look a little weird though. But nevertheless, we're gonna get going. Just gonna ask for those that are watching, if you don't mind, leave a comment just to let me know that things are right because things look a little different than they normally look. And so I do want to get started, but I want to make sure that everybody's out there listening, can tune in, can hear me. You can just type a one, type a yes, anything like that to let me know that we are doing good. Okay, there we go. 10 Tizzy said vibe. We're looking good. So maybe it's my fault for starting a few minutes late. That you guys are slow. Long time. Yeah, you're right, 10 Tizzy. You're absolutely right. It has been a long time. But good to see you. So hopefully this win streak will be, all right, there we go. Sounds good. Thomas is here. Everybody's coming. All right. So it started out a little weird. I was a little scared there, but we're going to go ahead and get into this right now. This show, day after shows, Let's Talk About It, is all about interacting with you guys, right? The show is dedicated towards you. And this week, I do have a little bit of content that I want to get out there and share with you guys. But for the most part, after I get through this content, it's all about whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm here for your therapy. I'm here for your venting. I'm here for your questions. Everything, I'm all here for it, right? So here's the trick. There's a link that's in the description, and I'm going to take a moment right now and paste that into the comments and pin that for anybody that wants to join. But it's really easy to do. All you got to do is click on the link, whether you're on a phone, whether you're on a laptop, and join us. So let me pin that in the comments right now so that people can do it. As the tradition continues, my man Thomas Frisbee will be the first one up to show you how it's done. So there we go. I just put that link out there, pinned it. Boom. So before I bring Thomas on, I do want to go ahead and just talk about the obvious thing, right? With this Carolina Panthers team, they were victorious yesterday in East Rutherford, New Jersey. There's a picture that our photographer Patrick Snyder took that has went absolutely haywire out there on the internet. So big shout outs to Patrick for doing the good work that he does. This was a photograph that we were able to capture yesterday after the game. That has since gotten over 250,000 views on our Twitter account. So, little tip for you guys: if you don't do so already, make sure you follow us on Game Day on Twitter. That's where we give you all the latest information, photos during the game, injury updates, and all that stuff. But this picture right here was posted on Twitter yesterday, and you can see there's Bryce Young in a boot. So the latest with Bryce Young is that there are reports out there from very substantial, credible sources that says Bryce Young is ruled out for Week 8 versus the Buffalo Bills. And then after that, they're going to see about it being a week-to-week thing. And then you have the press conference in which the coach speaks, and he spoke today on it. So let me share with you guys Coach Dave Canales talking about Bryce Young's injury and where exactly they are at with it right now. So let me go ahead and play this now.
We're going to go day to day. We're going to go day to day on that right now, and just really look at him each day. Just test the ankle in different ways to see if we
and then you couldn't hear me there for a second. So what I was saying was, give me just a second. I didn't have everything set up properly to hear everything that was going on. So I'm going to play this one more time properly. I know it was on mute for a second, but I'm now off. I'm going to play Dave Canales today talking about Bryce Young and his injury.
Back out there on Wednesday in some way, shape, or form. So we're gonna just take it that way, and you know, he's saw him. Yeah, we're gonna go day to day. We're gonna go day to day on that right now, and you know, just really look at him each day. Just test the ankle in different ways to see if we can't get him back out there on Wednesday in some way, shape, or form. So we're gonna just take it that way, and you know, he's saw him this morning, talked to him, and he's like, let's push this thing, let's see what we got, you know. And so we're gonna try to take that approach with it and just go from there.
All right, Tentizzy, thanks for letting me know I was muted. Like I said, I caught myself that I was muted there. But there was Coach Dave Canales talking about the injury and saying that they're going to take it day to day, really pushing to get him out there on Wednesday. But here's the perplexing things and where you go to say, all right, Mr. Canales, are you trying to be overly optimistic? Are you trying to try to get a competitive advantage against your opponent because it's such a big game coming up? Because for him to not say exactly what the injury is, why not? It's obvious that it's an ankle, but you won't say whether it's low sprain, high sprain, yada yada. You won't give any details about it. That's a little bit interesting. But then later on in the press conference, Coach Canales goes to say, well, yeah, him and Dave will be looking into possibly getting another quarterback in to back up Andy if Andy's going to be that guy. You're not going to start on that later this week, right? You're gonna get on that pretty soon, because if Bryce isn't able to go, that new guy needs to be in here on Wednesday. Otherwise, what's the point of bringing him in Thursday or Friday to have him be a backup, because he's not going to know anything, right? And especially if you want to be, if you want to really cover your butt, then you want that guy to be someone that's more of a veteran guy that could pick up your playbook and understand everything. And, if need be, if Andy, gets hurt on Sunday, substituting in for Bryce, that you're able to do something good. So I think there's some gamesmanship going on there by Dave with his comment. Again, because the source that talked about Bryce being out for at least a week makes a lot of sense. And if you look at the fact that, considering that it looked, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just from all the source of information out there and seeing some photographs from a still shot of Bryce being stepped on his calf, being a high ankle sprain, you really feel like everybody's different, that it should at least be 2 weeks. So, nevertheless, that is the latest on Bryce Young. And I know Thomas is waiting. He has to go to bed early, so I appreciate him being one of our first people on each and every single week. So, give me a split second, Thomas. I just got something I got to look at real quick. Oh, boy. All right, so let me go ahead and bring Thomas on. Thomas, I'm probably not even going to be able to hear you. Say something, Thomas.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, see, I went to do something different, and I can't do what I think I was doing. So, give me a moment, Thomas. Give me a moment. I think I'm going to have to... Hold on. I'm going to have a solution here in just a second. I thought, even though... And don't talk, I'm not going to be able to hear you. I put on these different headphones tonight because I was like, I don't feel like putting on the earphones that go into my ear. I had to wear them for a couple of hours yesterday doing a show up in New York because it was really loud. I hate stuff in my ears. So I went to put these on, but I did not properly route all of my audio to where I could hear you through these ears. So I do still have to put something in my ear. And in just a second, I can hear you. What's up, Thomas?
Not a whole lot. How's it going tonight, Chris?
Oh, I got a story to tell. I have a great story to tell. Which, by the way, everybody out there, I got a really good story that I have to. You guys are going to be my. You know, I always say that I'm here to be your therapist. You guys will need to be my therapist for about 2 minutes tonight, as I tell you about the worst travel experience that I had
Oh,
getting back to Charlotte today. But
do
go ahead,
tell.
Thomas. I will tell. I will. But I'll. You know, let's get you your time so you can get to bed.
All right, appreciate that. So many thoughts after just yesterday. First of all, I mean, above 500 for the first time, which feels like eons ago. So I mean, that's a good thing. But I mean, I'm gonna start so many list character categories in here. But I guess the one thing that I think I'm hoping Canales will figure it out because I don't think he's had this problem before is having two really good running backs. I know he's trying to figure it out. I was not a big fan of playing one, then the other, then the one, then the other, because it seemed like the offense could never get a good rhythm. Because it's kind of hard if you're going to put one in, then next series put somebody else in who seemed to get the offense going. And don't get me wrong, I mean Chuba is really good, but Rico for some reason has more of the power. But from what it seems like, but I kind of like. I mean, I think what he needs to he's figuring it out. Like I said, he hasn't gone has to deal with this, but I kind of like wanted to see what when it was D Williams and J Stu back in the day, to where both of them were always in the game and rotating them instead of this every other series thing because it's kind of hard to get any traction.
Yeah.
But also, I think that part in play on how the offense sometimes played flat. I mean, I think their saving grace was the Jets just being the Jets. It's like, hey, we're gonna pull field when we're down by one score, hoping that ignites something, and Tyrod Taylor ends up throwing two picks to Jaycee Horn. Don't throw in Jaycee Horn's direction. Found out the hard way.
Right.
But that I mean, honestly, they won a game that they needed to win, and I would like for them to actually be more explosive on the road because that's still a problem, and it showed a little bit. But the Jets, I look at it this way: the Jets has a really good defense, and it showed at times. But that was a game they had to win. They won. Now they're coming home. Now Bryce is banged up, not playing, and I think it'll be okay if it's just 1 week, as long as they can get the running game going. Because Buffalo right now is struggling a little bit. They're not as Atlanta beat them, and Carolina destroyed Atlanta. It's just one of those weird seasons. But I'm intrigued by this weekend because can Andy maintain what this team has gone through as his veteran quarterback and not mess it up? Because I don't like when people put playoff standings out like 6-7 weeks after the season when they say Carolina is like that seventh, eighth seed right now, right there.
Are
That
we
to me that
really?
does. I think they needed Seattle to win. I don't know what or lose. I don't know what all that stuff meant,
I'll take a look.
but I don't like putting any stock into that because obviously the season's not going to end right now. But for us fans, it gives us something to talk about instead of. I mean, we could be like the Jets right now. We could be like the Dolphins right now. We could be like all these other teams. But it was kind of nice seeing yesterday on these post game shows. It seems like that they were they were starting to talk positively about Carolina, that they're a young team, and this is showing that you don't just pull the plug right away. Because I know some people last year wanted to get rid of Canales already. From not everybody, but some. And it's like this is just give him a chance. And I like if you want to pick me up before I go, if you want to pick me up, listen, Canales. I mean, he's pretty good at. He's starting to gel this team, and they're starting to actually look like a team under his command.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They are, and I said, and pre. Did you have anything else that you want to add?
Uh, I mean, I'm just hoping that I don't know. This game could go either way. Playing against Buffalo, because like I said, Carolina could get them at a tough spot and beat them, but this could also be a game where Buffalo's mad and just, you know, like I said, I've said this before. Panthers fans, I can't go to games since I don't live in the Charlotte area. Go, Go, go. I'm tired of hearing and seeing all the opposing teams, but I mean, that's what happens when we're not good. But just keep support and go to the games if you're able to.
All right, thank you very much, Thomas. Always traditionally our first caller of the night, setting tone. You guys can call into Thomas. Thanks so much for calling in.
Have a good night, Chris.
You as well. So there you go. Like that, Thomas always sets the stage and lets you guys know that's exactly how it's done. You come on. I'll give you about 2 or 3 minutes. If there's not a line of people calling in, I may give you a few more minutes. But whether you just want to chat football, ask a question, make a statement, I'd like to meet you. Hopefully, we'll have some others come on the show tonight. And I wonder if everybody's watching the Monday Night Football game right now. Right now, Monday Night Football is taking place, and that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions. Currently, the Detroit Lions are up in that game 7-0. Looks like Tampa has the ball right now for the first time, and they are, doesn't say exactly where they are. And unfortunately, since I'm media, I cannot give you play-by-play and lots of up-to-dates because they'll get mad at me. But I might update you guys a few more times before we get off the show here. So that was Thomas calling in, and I just want to touch on a few things that he talked about here about this Carolina Panthers team in the game from yesterday. The two backs and how that worked out yesterday. So yeah, I'm hoping that he tweaks it a little bit. Here's the numbers from yesterday. You see Rico Dowdle, he was easily the better running back by stats, 17 for nearly 80 yards, 4.6 yard average. Chuba had 14 carries, 31 yards, 2.2. So statistically, clearly, Rico was twice as good as Chuba was yesterday. Now, with his press conference today, he spoke about the fact that Chuba, well, this is his first week back, and he's still getting into the groove of things. Yeah, I hear you, coach. I hear you, but you didn't rush him back either, right? And typically, a running back with some fresh legs should pop a good amount and not be like, oh, well, he's getting into it. You didn't rush him back, and he got rest. Rest is a good thing. So I feel like Canales does some things when he's speaking with the media to, I don't want to say do damage control, but just to kind of paint the picture that he may want to the outside while he works things on the inside a little differently, perhaps. Because for me, I feel like you can clearly see with the naked eye that Rico is running much better than Chuba. Chuba did have some nice runs yesterday, or that's like, he had that screen that that looks funny to everybody, like, hey, the lineman didn't go, and then he had I'm not sure how early on it was for Chuba, but he did have a run for, what was it here? I think I still got it up on here, for 11 yards. So Rico's longest was 13, and then Chuba was 11. But outside of that, it was some tough running for Chuba. So I feel like you don't have to, Dave Canales, worry about saying, hey, I'm bitching Chuba. Chuba's not our guy. I feel like you can very easily control the narrative about how this happens and say, hey, Rico is just running out of his mind. And you easily have the stats to support that in the sense that he was player of the week twice in a row. That's easy to understand. Like, yeah, he's running out of his mind. And let Rico start. Let Rico maybe dominate things a little bit more until you see that he's lost his glow, right? He's lost his juice. I forget what they used to call it in games, back in the days you play, and you get this extra bonus where your guy's like untouchable. That's what Rico has right now. And I feel like we should leverage that a little bit more. And in terms of Andy Dalton coming out there, I believe Andy can certainly maintain. One thing I do get excited about, now Andy certainly has been showing that he has a very good connection with Xavier Leggett. Xavier had a career day yesterday in yards receiving, in targets and yards, 92 yards, 11 targets, 9 receptions. Young man nearly had his first 100-yard day. But, so I like that with Andy. I don't feel like, oh no, here we go with Andy. And I feel like we could be fine, but we will need to get that backup situation to Andy settled pretty quickly because He doesn't seem to be super excited about his backup, Hendon Hooker, who's a third-year guy out of Tennessee. So, what you're saying, you might bring in somebody. I think that's clear enough. You're not going to say we may. You probably not probably. You are going to bring in a guy, in my opinion, with the fact that Bryce would be out and then Andy would be your starter. Now, something I do want to comment on that has come in since I was talking about the call from Thomas. Let me see if I can quickly find this comment. Trying to find something super quick. Oh, I wasn't looking for this comment, but Rashak says can't win with no Andy. He gets hurt on a 3-game winning streak. I feel like we could win with Andy. I really do feel like we could win with Andy. I know he started to fade last year after a few games, but at first when he came in, he was sharp. He did well. He definitely can move the ball down the field. I don't feel like Andy's like this old nose situation. Because, I mean, got to keep in mind, Bryce Young himself has some challenges, right? For me, I've been saying for Bryce, let's call the game and coach it where he's not turning the ball over early. If he doesn't turn the ball over, I feel like Bryce is a guy who can just slowly ramp up his ability during the game. Because you also think about the fact that Bryce has this late game heroics type things, right? He just seems to have it in his DNA that as the game goes, he gets stronger. So it's like maintain Bryce tight leash early on, and then loosen him, then let him go. He'll be fine. So I don't feel like Andy comes in and is like, oh no, here we go, because we don't have like this unanimous franchise quarterback in Bryce Young, right? All right, so here's what I was looking for. 51 Evan said, is Bryce for sure out? So I will tell you exactly the information that we have, and then I'll tell you my opinion, and that'll also allow you to form your own opinion as well about everything. So Porch came out from Tom Pelissero that he's a pretty darn good source, that Bryce would not be playing this week against the Buffalo Bills, and that typically with the injury that he appears to have, and Coach Dave Canales will not say that exact injury, he would be out for 2 to 4 weeks. Well, today, Coach said that it's going to be day to day. Bryce says he's going to, let's push this thing and see where we can be at. So, I feel like for sure, but if you want me to answer this from a technical perspective, Coach today said it's not for sure. Coach today said it's week to week, and they're going to try to have him out there on the field on Wednesday. So, in my opinion, Bryce isn't playing this week, and on Wednesday, you're going to see that Bryce gets a DNP, did not practice, and you're also going to hear about the guy that they brought in to back up Andy Dalton. That's my 2 cents. All right, and let me go through some more of these comments here. So you guys see the audio sounds good? Thank you. Easy Crep. What would it take in terms of an offer for you to feel comfortable trading Chuba Hubbard? There's not anything right now that would make me comfortable trading Chuba Hubbard, because I look at what Rico is doing as a flash of excellence. Now, I'm not saying outside of this flash that Rico's a scrub, because Rico still had a 1,000-yard season last year with the Cowboys. So he's definitely a good, solid running back. But am I willing to, after 2 games, hang my hat on, let's get rid of Chuba and the contract that we have on him and then go with Rico? No, I'm not. Because if you look at things before Rico had to start without Chuba being out there, and they were doing this, two running back system. Neither one of these guys did anything spectacular. They were okay. Chuba was actually doing better than Rico in that role. So 2 games, though phenomenal, in terms of trading away that guy, meaning now we never have Chuba. We have to count on Trevor Etienne and Jonathan Brooks. Again, not saying that those guys are bad, but I know what I got in Chuba. I know what I've been liking in Chuba. So there's nothing for me right now that would make me feel comfortable trading away Chuba Hubbard. Appreciate the question. You was up in Jersey and didn't stop by. Yeah, I was up in Jersey, did not stop by. When we travel for football, it's really just like, it's like special forces coming in, right? We get in, immediately get to your hotel, and then I start prepping for my Saturday night show. I try to get some food in me, and then I actually do a Saturday night show, and then I also have to prep for my Sunday show, and then figure out the logistics for getting into the stadium for Sunday for the pregame show as well as equipment stuff. So the only kind of downtime I get is during dinner, or I may go to the gym at the hotel. But because my family is from the area, not from New York, but not far away at all, and then there's not even a thought or an attempt to try to meet with them because of the fact that it's so little time. But appreciate you, Ten Tizzy. Glad that you're back. Hopefully this winning streak, 3 games in a row, this team seeming to turn a corner, will break a lot of the old people that used to see in here all the time that I understand. Not good times. You may want to fade a little bit, put your time in other places. It would be great to see some of you guys coming back and continue to chat with me here. What are you talking about? So again, this show is live and interactive. Okay, so I go live for the purpose of interacting with you guys, and they're personal conversations, right? We talk a little football, but we also get off the topic of football some other times to talk about other things. It's just, I like to hang out with everybody and continue to meet and know my audience. So, and I do, if I don't get a call in the next 2 minutes, I'm going to allow you guys to be my therapy and help me get over my flying experience today, traveling back to Charlotte from New York, because it was not fun. It was not fun. All right, so you guys are talking about the game. I got a feeling a lot of people are watching the game. All right. And if you see me looking around like this sometimes, because I'm hearing sounds in my ears that I do not know why. All right, so currently, Tampa Bay 0, Detroit Lions 7 with 2 minutes and 42 seconds left in the first quarter. So far the possessions have been touchdown, Detroit, punt, Tampa, fumble, Detroit, punt, Tampa, and now the Lions are driving, man. So far it looks like the Bucks do not have any kind of answer for what the Detroit Lions are doing. All right, let's get back to you guys here. Yeah, Ten Tizzy. We've tried to get Ten Tizzy on. Won't come on. Matt Carr said, we got to start some Rico chants in the stands. I know what you're talking about. Are you kind of making fun of the Ricola commercial where you go, Rico? Yeah, that would be entertaining for sure. What's up, C3? Hope you're doing well. I have faith in Andy. We will be just fine. Yeah, I do as well. I have faith in Andy. Anybody could go out there and kind of be off a little bit, so to say, but I don't see Andy starting to just go to say, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? I don't. I'm fine with him. Why is Dave saying Bryce day to day? So I'll touch on that again. I think he's trying to disguise some things. I think he's trying to be optimistic. and because again, it's like nothing other than the words from the coach's mouth, which nothing other than the words from coach's mouth has suggested that Bryce Young will be able to play this Sunday. If he does, it will definitely be a surprise. It'll be a shock to a lot of people, including myself. And you look at it, you think about it from this point. Look at it, think about it, analyze from this point right here. All right, so probably lost you for a split second, but I should be back and crystal clear now. So you look at it from, I just think he's just trying to be optimistic and trying to keep Buffalo on their toes. That's really as simple as I can put it. Oh, I know what I was about to say. So about Bryce, he runs around a lot. Okay, he's not 6 foot. He's not 6'4". He's a smaller guy, and Bryce isn't running around like terribly for his life on every play. But Bryce rarely drops back, scans left, scans right, maybe slide steps a little bit left, side steps a little bit right. No, Bryce moves around a lot because he's not able to see over the linemen and everywhere. So he's moving. And in my opinion, a guy that has to be mobile like Bryce for the sake of seeing downfield and finding his passing lanes, you don't want to put that stress on his ankle because he's not just going to sit back there, stand tall, and look over the line and scan the field and find his guy. And why would you want to put him out there to do that against the Buffalo Bills when you seem to be building something? Let him get his rest. Let him get healthy. All right. So what are you guys talking about? Philly, Delaware type dude. Could have took me to a cheesesteak. I do love me some cheesesteaks. I do love me some cheesesteaks, but again, that would have been a little bit of traveling to do. So let me go ahead and share this story with you guys, right? So I told you I want to share a story. I love connecting with you all, whether we're talking football, family, life, yada, yada, yada. That's what these shows the day after about, as well as I can also be your therapist. So let me allow you all to be my therapist. I'm gonna sit back a little bit and tell you this. So had a basically a 10 o'clock flight from Newark International Airport, right across the street from New York City, to Charlotte, North Carolina. And as most of the people in the media do, I travel with some equipment, batteries, lights, cameras, all this stuff, right? Been doing that for an extremely long time. Well, I've also, started 3 years ago, started doing the live broadcast from on the road. And I needed to be able to do that broadcast from anywhere, whether or not I had a power outlet to plug into or not. So I started carrying around this battery with me. I've taken this battery to London for the games. I've taken this battery to Germany for the games. And I've never had a problem until today. I'm coming through TSA pre-check in Newark, and as unsurprisingly, my bag gets, how it's coming through the chute, it got shot into the other chute of like, there's a problem. I'm like, cool, no worries. And then they open up the bag. They're like, what is this? I tell them it's a battery. And they're like, no, doesn't look right. So I'm going to make this short, even though I really want to tell you guys a long story. So they tell me that they call the supervisor over, and the supervisor says, you have to get out of line. We have to escort you back out of the airport to the stations, right, to American Airlines. And then you have to get somebody from American Airlines to say it's okay for you to bring this battery on the plane. And then they're going to bring you back, and then we'll help skip the line, and then you'll come through, and we'll verify it again, and you'll be good. I'm like, okay. So they escort me out, go to American Airlines, tell the lady, so then she escorts me. Then, like, we hold up the entire TSA line because they're like, oh, this guy's coming back. he needs a supervisor so that we don't hold him up again. And everybody just stops. And I'm thinking, it's Monday morning in New York. All these people trying to fly somewhere. You stop the entire line because you're trying to figure out where the supervisor is or who has a walkie-talkie. I'm like, okay. And you know, I'm a, like a low-key guy, so I'm trying to like, I'm thinking like this. Fast forward, get through that, go through the line. They say everything's okay. And I'm like, fine, I can go to my flight now, right? And then, great pronunciation of Newark. So I'm through security now, right? And I'm doing some work before I get on the flight to put out some tweets about the Bryce Young throw chart and all that other stuff. And then my photographer calls. He's like, hey, they're calling you at the terminal, at the gate. I'm like, calling for me? You know, that's something you say when you're just shocked about what you clearly just heard somebody say, right? And I'm like, okay, well, let me get down there. So I close my laptop. I don't run, but I walk. Pass a can down to the terminal. I'm sorry, to the gate. And then I'm like, hey, so you guys were asking for me? And they're like, yeah, the pilot wants to talk to you. I'm like, huh? The pilot wants to talk to me? She's like, notice I'm repeating everything because I'm like, again, it's like, what is going on? So I'm like, okay, let me, what do I do? She's like, scan your boarding pass and go ahead and walk on and go talk to the pilot. I'm like, okay. So I go down, get onto the plane, and I'm like, hey, sir, I'm the guy that you want to talk to. And he's like, yeah, let me see your battery. So I show him this battery, and guys, it's not big at all. It's like half the size of your kid's lunchbox, right? And I mean, it's like this big. So me and the pilot, I got some visual proof of you guys, right? So check this out. And I know I'm taking more than 2 minutes, but I'm going to come back to making this quick so that you guys can get in your questions. But I just got to share this with you. So let me make sure I show you the right picture first. Come on. So there, you see that picture right there? That picture is because your boy, the guy on the left is the pilot. And what he's looking at on his iPad there is he's looking at the rules and regulations for things that could travel onto the plane, what can, what cannot, and all the specifications for it. And what you can't see just out of sight of that is my bag and this battery pack that he has. And so we go through that for like 20, 25 minutes. He's talking to people, they're calling him back, they're calling other places. And I'm like, I've been traveling with this thing for 3 years. And then this scene right here happens. Let me make sure I bring up the right thing. Then my great photographer, who's Mr. Storytelling Journalist of the Year, then you got this picture right here. Come on up. Boom. You see that picture? Now that is me at the airport, just kind of like trying not to go crazy that the pilot told me we're going to get off the plane and go talk to the people at the gate to determine what we're going to do with this battery. And you probably can't see it too well, but you see that little orange thing in my hand that's kind of like hanging around my knees? That's the battery that I had. And what ends up happening is, thankfully, Patrick comes and talks, and basically the gate agent was trying to bamboozle me into not letting me get on the flight. Because I'm thinking that I'm waiting for somebody to come so I could drop this thing off. But no, he was about to close the door and not let me get on the flight. And, you know, my photographer said something to those guys, and they're like, hey, let him get on the flight. You can leave the stuff. So anyway, a little bit longer than I wanted to. I forgot that I had you waiting, Penny. So my bad, but that was my story I had to tell for a little bit of therapy because it was a lot. And I caused the plane to be late. It ended up being delayed like 40 minutes. And I was just like, man, I'm just trying to get home. I'm trying to celebrate this victory. But I ain't even mean to keep you waiting that long. I got into my story. What's going on, Penny?
What's going on, big dog? How you doing today, my man?
Man, I made it back. And
I'm gonna say, it looked like you had you a nice little journey on the way back. That's crazy.
I had more than a nice little journey. And let me do this. Let me see if I can do something real more quick. I know that's terrible English and I'm a journalist. But
That's how good.
I got to do this right here because I am a family man. And wait for it. Boom.
Boom.
That's cut off a little bit. But nevertheless, I don't know why it's cut off like that. Let me see if I can show this other picture right here. Let's see if this is better.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
they both get cut off. But nevertheless, today is the birthday of my daughter, Sierra Jenkins. She turns 2 years old today. So Happy birthday
Yes,
to
sir.
to my little lady. So, all right, all my
That's
personal stuff out the
amazing.
way. Thank you, sir. What's up, Penny?
What's going on, man? How you feeling? Let's talk about it. How we feeling? You know what's crazy, Chris? So, I had time to reflect on your question last week about like how we would feel.
Uh-oh, Penny. What happened to Penny, man? You coming
Hold on
back?
here. Are we good?
You got a call? You had a call come in? Knocked you off. We good now though.
Okay. Um, but I had time to reflect on the question that you had last week. About us as far as how we're gonna feel after we win against an 0-7 or 0-16. Um, we feel pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. The win definitely puts us in a really good spot. Um, Now we're starting to kind of turn the page of from the old Panthers to the new Panthers. Um, it wasn't pretty, but it doesn't even matter. Like we are in the spot to where it's like we're not here to play like a statistic game. Like we have to do is just get the dub. Doesn't matter if it's pretty or ugly, as long as we get the win. That's all that really matters at this point.
Okay. Okay. So you feeling good right now?
Feeling pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. I'm feeling pretty good. I am kind of bummed out that Bryce did get hurt. That is a bummer, but y'all gotta stop playing with JC, man. Stop playing with JC. He's really like that, y'all.
Man, that was incredible. That was incredible. So for you, Penny, today, I'll ask a little bit of the same thing from last week. So, do we have to beat Buffalo for you to still feel good about this Carolina Panthers team? Now, you can take into
All things,
consideration all the
all
latest
things
developments.
considered, all things considered, no. Because if anything we lose, we'll be right at 500. I just want a solid performance. In the event that Bryce does not play, I really need like I said, we need everybody else to step up, Andy included, just to put on a decent performance. And I honestly believe, if we put in our defense a decent performance on offense, we got a chance to kind of hang in there with the boys. Atlanta kind of set the precedence that we can run the ball on a lot of teams. So if we stay true to the run game, defense spokes up, and then we kind of alleviate the stress on Andy to make plays and just play our style of football. I think we'll be all right.
I'm glad you said it like that. It's like in my opinion, the same thing we're needing to do with Bryce. Don't put him in a position to give away the game and have turnovers early, and then you can let this thing work itself out. Before I let you go, because we are at the time, do you have any thoughts on that running back situation and how Coach had those two substituting in yesterday, or how you want to see that going forward?
I mean, for me, I think he might need to switch it up just a little bit. I think every other series is a little. It's kind of hard to kind of get that continuity and then kind of get going. Rico is definitely a touchy back. So the more touches he gets, the better he gets. And Chuba, I look at it like this. I see. I would prefer to have Rico kind of start the game to kind of set the tone, and then once we kind of build a solid lead or we need to close things out, we put Chuba in there to kind of close it out. But as far as the carry shares, I mean, what was it, 17-14? I mean, I just
Yep.
Rico just had a game. I didn't see a problem with it. I think we just kind of need to just switch it up how we do it. But it wasn't a problem for me.
Hey, glad that you're back for the second week in a row, man. Hopefully we'll make it 3 weeks. Sorry, I forgot about you holding there as I was
Hey,
getting
no
to my
worries,
rant,
Chris.
man.
Happy
They was
birthday to
trying to they
your
was
daughter.
trying to keep me up in New York, man. Come on,
It's all
why?
good, man.
All right, take
It's
care,
all
boss.
good, man.
All
Yes,
right,
sir. Have a good one. Y'all
hey.
tap in.
All right, all right, all right. So we got two calls. I hope we get one more before we get out of here. Let me try to continue to work through these questions here, though. TSA in Jersey, ridiculous. Just travel to Philly. Shower drive worth it. Man, that was again the short version that I wanted to give you guys. Not wanted to, the short version that I had to give to you guys. But it was a lot. It was a lot. I got escorted around that airport so many times. And to hang out in the cockpit for like 25 minutes talking with the pilot as he's trying, and I'm thinking like there's hundreds of people behind me. Anyway, it was crazy. Um, okay. Panther Girl says, I have no faith in this QB room. That's a little shocking to hear. You don't have faith in Bryce or Andy? You want to see something new altogether? So, Panther Girl, are you talking just specifically about Andy? Because you said the room. So when you say the room, then to me that's telling me Bryce and Andy. So let's get some clarification there. You know, I appreciate hearing your opinion. You guys, wins don't have to be pretty because it was described as an ugly win. Yeah, you know, when you're watching it, it's tough. You kind of feel like watching paint dry. I mean, it was tough. I forget the score of that game early on. I think it was like 3-3, 3-0. And then we started putting up, I can't even say started putting up some points. We kicked another field goal and then they got on the board as well. But yeah, at the end of the day, or even I should say at the end of the 24 hours, you're not really thinking about the fact that you barely won. You're just looking at the current standings. And the current standings have the Carolina Panthers at week 8 in second place in the NFC South behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and just a smidgen half game technically ahead of the Atlanta Falcons and several games ahead of the New Orleans Saints. So I like this comment here. This split back stuff is only really bad for fantasy football. Hey, I want to share with you guys the passing charts from Bryce Young the other day. I meant to put this up there earlier, but I got it for you now. Let's look at the passing chart from Xavier Leggett yesterday. Career day for Xavier. Let's give him a little round of applause. You guys know this is my favorite sound effect to play right here. Xavier caught the rock on the left, the right, the center. He was all over the place, getting involved and making catches. Only missed, had 2 incompletions. And yeah, Xavier doing his thing yesterday. That is once again the route chart from Xavier. And then let's look at this, because I wasn't happy with this yesterday as it was going on. And then I looked at at his passing chart. It's not as bad as it's ever been, like going back to, 2 years ago? And I was like, oh my goodness. But it still did the math from this yesterday, so that's why I can quickly say it right now. 17 attempts, 10 yards or less. Now, does he need to throw the ball down the field every single play and 20 million times? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But here's the thing that you want to fix. The white ones are incompletions. All right, so all of the deep passes, 30 yards, 20. There's one at 30 that looks to be, let's just call it 2 at 20, another one at 15. But basically, all of his deep passes are incomplete. All of his deep passes are incomplete. That needs to get better. You gotta, you start connecting on some of these, and I know we could talk about one of them to Jaycee Horn should have been caught. So you don't want to say it's always on Bryce, but it happened. And then you see Andy Dalton come in there and he connects to Xavier down the field deep. So I still want Bryce to improve upon that. Dave to work on with him to improve upon that. But let's look at Rico Dowdle yesterday. Now, he had a lot of success running to the left. He had his biggest success, I should say, running to the left. But he also ran up the middle and was effective. And, Chuba's big runs, I really believe they were both on the left-hand side as well. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the chart for Chuba. I only have it for Rico. But Rico, I think both of these guys were better to the left for the big plays yesterday. I know that screen was absolutely to the left, and I really feel like his 10-plus yard run was also to the left. But I always like to share that with you, give you some more information and things out there to digest, to to know how you feel about this team. And I just hope, I really hope, I don't know if I can give you a sense of whether or not I think it's going to happen, but I really hope that he goes with Rico as a starter, and doesn't, it does not have to affect Chuba's long-term ability with the team, because I just think that Chuba is not as good as Rico in the zone. Rico is clearly in the zone. All right, we got a few more comments, and then we're going to get out of here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. As always, we'll continue to rock out with the reports. Make sure that you set your reminders, turn on your alerts. Wednesday, we'll be live from the stadium, giving you our midweek update. Wednesday's going to be a big news update because it's going to give you a lot more information about Bryce Young's injury, where he stands, and certainly give more information about his likelihood to play this Sunday, as well as the backup situation with Andy, obviously looking to be that guy. Will they bring in somebody else? All that stuff is going to become clearer on Wednesday, and I will be reporting live from the stadium on Wednesday. That's what my weekly tradition is, to do that live from the stadium on Wednesdays as well. So take a look, be on the lookout for that. And then we'll give you guys a score update before we get out of here on the Detroit Lions and Bucks. Currently, Detroit Lions 7, Bucks 0, and the Bucks have the ball. They are currently just about at, I was about to say midfield, they look like they just punted. I'm not watching live on TV in case somebody is watching a little bit ahead of us. So the Detroit just got the ball back. And that will be our show for tonight. Thank you all so much for watching. Continue to stay on Twitter. Lock us in on Twitter for any breaking news updates. We'll always go to Twitter for that. And then follow up with the show if necessary to do that. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Carolina Panthers are 4-3, above 500, getting ready to play the Buffalo Bills this Sunday at 1 o'clock at Charlotte Bank of America Stadium. I'm Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte 5.